Okay, so now I'm going to do a couple examples of the back. The back is probably a little more confusing because you haven't really practiced with problems like these, but it's still the same idea, same everything. You just need to be careful factoring. So guys, we're factoring our quadratics. You need to know that ax squared plus bx plus c is the standard form of a quadratic. The a, all right, is always attached to the x squared. The b is the number attached to the x. And the c is just a number. And do you notice any variable? No. Okay, so the same rules apply. You're still going to have a box. But what helps is if you can identify your a, your b, and your c. So here I notice there's only two terms. Okay, I still know it's a quadratic because of this square. So the x squared, I know this is my a, so the number with the a is a 1. Here I see an x, so that's my b. So what's the only term missing? The c. So I'm just going to rewrite this so you can see it. This is x squared minus 8x. So do I have a c? No. So there is no number. So what number can I use so y'all can see it? When there is no number, that number is a 0. So we're just going to add a 0, right? And we're still going to keep it equal to 0. Okay, so now you see the three terms. You see the a, the 1 in front, the negative 8, and the c. So now we can put this in a box. Your x squared always goes here. Your last term always goes here, so there's a 0 there. Okay? So we're still looking for these two numbers. And those two numbers still need to multiply to your a times your c, and they still need to add up to the b. That has not changed. So here, now you just got to be careful. My a is a 1. My c is a 0. So if I multiply them, what's 1 times 0? 0, correct. So that's going to go here. They're going to multiply to a times c. When I multiplied it, I got 0, so that's what I'm going to put there. Your a times your c will give you a 0. And then they're going to add up to the b. Well, which one's the b? Negative 8. So you'll put negative 8 here. All right? You're still looking for where they intersect. So your two missing numbers are negative 8 and a 0. Negative 8 and a 0, right? And I know we're adding these two together. Do not forget this is a box with the x. All right, so let's break it up. Let's factor it out. How do we break up the x squared? X and x. X times what will give me this negative 8x? Negative 8. And x times what will give me 0x? Guys, what do you multiply to get 0? A 0, right? So your factors would be x. Do we need to show the 0? Do we need to add a 0? Right? Do I need to show you, hey, I'm adding nothing to something? Do I need to do that? No. So my factor here would just be the x. I don't need to show you that I'm adding a 0, right? It doesn't make sense to do this. Okay, so please do not do it. So all I have on this side is an x. And my other factor is x minus 8. Okay, well remember, it's still equal to 0, so I can still do the 0 product property, meaning you take your two factors. One factor is x, set it equal to 0. Take your other one, x minus 8, set that one equal to 0, and solve. Guys, do I need to do anything to get the x alone? Please say no. This x is already alone. What does it equal? So you already have one of your solutions. And then what's the only thing I got to do to get x alone? Add 8. So x is equal to, what, 0 plus 8? 8. So your solutions for this one, x would equal 0 and 8. Okay? So they seem a little bit more complicated, but all you have to do is figure out, are you missing the b or the c? And then if you are missing it, just go on ahead and put a 0 in its place. So I'll do a couple more. Let's look at number 12. I have the x squared. That must mean that's my a. I have an x. That must mean that's my b. So again, all I'm missing is the c. So let's just go on ahead and rewrite it. 8x squared minus 6x. And again, I'm missing the c, so I don't have it. So I know it's just a 0. Like there's nothing there. We don't need to add a 0, but I'm doing it so you can see it. And again, they set it equal to 0. So now I have my 3 terms, my a, my b, and my c. So now I can put this in a box. Your 8x squared goes here. Your 0 is here. And these are the two numbers. So this is where now the numbers are going to change a little bit. Remember, these two numbers are going to multiply to your a times your c. Well, in this one, what is your a? An 8. And what is your 0? I mean, your c, it's 0. Guys, what is 8 times 0? 0. So I'm going to put that number in the place here. So 8 times, the numbers are going to multiply, to a times c, which gave us 0. And they're going to add up to the b, right? What is the b here? A negative 6. Okay, so we'll put that there. Negative 6. You're still looking for where they cross. So my numbers are negative 6 and 0. So you can go ahead and put those anywhere in the box. And don't forget, this is the box that has the x. Okay. And so now you will factor outward. Okay. So this is where you factor outward, and you guys forget that you have to pay attention to a couple of things. So first of all, this number is not just a 1, right? There's not an invisible 1 like this problem, so I can't just break up the x's. So I can't just put, I can put an x here and an x here, but how do we get that 8? You know what I mean? So this is where you have to pay attention. If we're going to take out on this side, we need to look at the two boxes and pull out from this way. So I have an 8 and a 6, 8 and a negative 6. What number do they have in common? What's the greatest common factor that they have? If you don't remember, you can ask your calculator how to find a greatest common factor. So remember, in order to find the greatest common factor, you type in GCF, it'll do it for you, right? And your numbers were 8, 6, or negative 6, doesn't matter. And the greatest number we can take out was a 2. So now this is how we break it up. So now we can go from here. Okay, well, 2 times what number will give me this 8? We already broke up the x's, right? So we can do 4. 2 times 4 gives me 8. Okay, well now 2x times what will give me the negative 6x? I already took out the x, so I don't need any more. So 2 times what will give me the negative 6? Negative 3. And then lastly, 4x times what will give me 0x, guys? The only thing you can multiply to give you 0, one of the numbers has to be a what? 0. Okay, so these are your factors. Do I really need to say 2x plus 0? No, we don't need to show it. There's nothing there. It's a 0. It's nothing. Your other factor is 4x minus 3. Remember, originally it was set to 0, so because of this, I can go on ahead and set each one to 0. So I have a 2x, that's one factor, right? Set that one equal to 0. 4x minus 3, set that one equal to 0. And then solve. What's the only thing I can get rid of, only thing I can do to get rid of this 2 attached? Divide. So we divide everything by 2. That cancels. X is equal to, and guys, 0 divided by 2 is what? 0. And then here, the first thing, I have 4x minus 3. The first thing you gotta do is get rid of the addition or subtraction. So here I have a subtraction. How do we get rid of it? You're gonna add 3. Okay, bring down your 4x equals 0 plus 3 is 3. And lastly, how do you get rid of the 4x? You divide. So x is equal to, does 3/4 reduce? You should know that it doesn't. 3/4 does not reduce. So these are your solutions. And I'm going to go ahead and write them right under here. Your x is equal to 0 and 3/4. So I know it seems like a lot, right? But it's not that hard. You guys have already done it. So I'm going to do one more. So that's what you're doing for this top part. And then now, if you notice, the bottom is the equations are not in standard form. And again, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, where it's equal to 0. Okay, so you have an a, a b, and a c. Well, you notice you did some without the a, the b, and the c, but they were all equal to 0. So now what you're going to do is move it, then factor it, then we're going to solve. So here, we'll take it easy. We'll do number 17, right? It's not equal to 0. There's not a 0 over here. So how would I get rid of this positive 21? Right? I need to move the positive 21 to this side. And how do we do it? We subtract 21. So if I rewrite it on this side, I have an x squared, then I have a plus 4x, and then we took away 21, and 21 minus 21 on this side is 0. Look at that. It's finally equal to 0. I got my a, my b, and my c. Well, now I can go on ahead and factor this. It's ready. So let's just identify the a as a 1, the b is a 4, the c is a negative 21. So we all know the x squared goes here, the negative 21 goes here. Again, those two numbers, again, for the millionth time, they're going to multiply to your a times your c, and they're going to add up to your b. So let's figure out what's my a times my c. 1 times negative 21, right, a times c. So that's going to give me 1 times negative 21 is negative 21, please. If you don't know that, you can always ask your calculator. 1 times negative 21. And then the b is, oops, what's my b? A 4, positive 4. So we'll put a positive 4. Look for where they intersect. I'm not going to clear this out. So my missing numbers are negative 3 and 7, positive 7. Doesn't matter where you put them. Negative 3, positive 7. Don't forget this is where your x goes. All right? So now there's no number right here. It's just a 1. So this is easy. I can break up an x and an x. X times what will give me the negative 3 over here. And x times what will give me the positive 7x over here. There you go. So now you have your factor of x plus 7 and x minus 3. Remember, we got it equal to 0. So because of this, I can do the zero product property. So I can take x plus 7, set it equal to 0. And I can do x minus 3, set that one equal to 0. How to get rid of a plus 7, minus 7. So x is equal to 0 minus 7 is negative 7. And how to get rid of a negative 3? You do a plus 3. So x is equal to positive 3. So your two solutions, x is equal to negative 7 and a 3. Okay, so it's still not hard, right? The only thing is you have to make sure, again, this only works if it's equal to 0. So I'll do more of a complicated one. So like number 20, and I might need more space for this one, so I'll probably go over number 22.